Hi, I'm Cindy Cloward of Riley Blake Designs, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to make a baby blanket with a burp cloth using a serger. So here is a coordinating burp cloth with a baby blanket, and this is made out of knits, and all I've done is serge the edges. And it's so fun to give these as a baby gift, and if you don't have a lot of time, it's a quick and easy way to make a blanket and burp cloth. So there's knits. I'm also going to show you double gauze, the same method you can use with double gauze. And these are so popular right now, especially if that hot time of year when babies don't need a lot of fabric covering them. A double gauze is a really good choice for a blanket. And flannels. You know, flannels are just so soft. I just think they're perfect for babies, and there's so many beautiful coordinating fabrics in flannel. It's a good choice if you want to make an easy blanket with this method. So let's start with our double gauze. Now, the size I like for a baby blanket is 40 by 40. And double gauze usually comes larger than that. So when you go to the fabric store, make sure you don't just get a yard. Make sure you get a piece bigger, a yard and a half or a yard and a quarter, so you can get a 40-inch square. Because especially with swaddle blankets, it's easier when the blanket is perfectly square to swaddle a baby. And with double gauze, it's important to note that, especially Riley Blake double gauze, is that they're lines that you can cut your fabric on. So instead of a traditional rotary cutter of cutting out your square, I like to use scissors and cut right on the line because it's very shifty and it can move on you. The next thing, once you've figured out you've got your square, and a good way to test that is just kind of fold it in half or make your corners meet on the diagonal, and it's square, so it's good to go. And the next thing I like to do is when I'm serging a blanket, I do rounded corners, and it's a large rounded corner because the serger isn't great on making corners. So if you have a large area, a slow corner, it's easy for a serger to go around a corner that way. So a long time ago, before I had this tool created by Lori Holt, I would use bowls or a plate, something round to do my corners. But now that we have this tool by Lori Holt, it makes doing your rounded corners very easy. And she has markings, quarters. That's one through the middle, one through the side. And I use these markings. And this is the 9-inch ruler to do my corner. So I have a marking here and here, quarter my circle. And that's what I take my rotary cutter. And I just start from that marking and go around and finish there. So there's one corner done. And I like to do 2 at a time sometimes. You could do 4 at a time, but with double gauze it's a little shifty, so I do 2 at a time. And again, line up that quarter of the circle. And it really is that simple. And I'm going to take it to my serger and serge around all the edges. Now, if you don't have a serger, I wouldn't corner, and you just want to roll your edges and stitch on top. I wouldn't corner my edges. I'd leave it square. And you could easily roll your edges in and either do a zigzag on top of there, or you could do a straight stitch. But again, we're doing a super easy method with your serger. So let me take it to the machine and sew it, and then I'll come back and show you how it looks. Okay, so that's an easy way to just sew around your edges and just clip off your remaining threads. Remember not to start on corners, start on a long edge, one of the sides, and go around. So that's our double gauze. And the next thing I'm going to show you is how to serge around two pieces of fabric together. And it's really basically the same. And for this, I'm going to use knits. And knits are a nice, soft blanket for babies. And knits are usually extra wide. So that's why I always like to add a burp cloth to a blanket, because this is how much extra fabric you have. Just perfect for a couple burp cloths. So these have already been squared up to 40 by 40. And you're not going to do right sides together. You're going to do the wrong sides together, because your blanket's going to be finished once you've serged around all the edges. So I just like to put my corners together, kind of shake it out a bit. Now this is jersey knit. This is our Riley Blake jersey knit, and it does kind of curl a little bit when you're sewing with it. So it's good to just kind of put it out there, and I always put pins in the middle. And when you're serging, you know, you pin your item away from the blade, because it's not good for blades to go over needles. So now is a good time to do your corners. And again, just like before, you've got your markings there. Adjust that just a little bit. Get it all to the edges, and that pin's just a little bit in my way. Just putting my your edges like to roll just a little bit. And this is really easy with flannel fabrics because your edges don't roll. Okay. Okay, so we've just finished our knit blanket with put wrong sides together. We take out our pins. Don't want to leave our pins in there. I think I got them all. Look how easy and fun that is to make. Next, I'm going to show you how to do a burp cloth. So burp cloths, you can make it any size you want, and you just need a rectangle piece of fabric. I cut this 22 inches long. So you can kind of decide how the length of your burp cloth. But I cut it 22 inches long with 9 inches width, because that is the width of my circle ruler. So I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to cut both sides at the same time. I'm just going to round the edges of my burp cloth. And again, you can see that there's a line through the middle, right along there. I'm going to put that on the edge, and this is where I'm going to rotary cut around the ends. So again, right sides together, flannel, and I love flannel because it's so absorbent, so it's a good use of fabric in a burp cloth. So let me take this to the machine and serge the edges. Off my ends, and that is a quick and easy burp cloth to go along with your quick and easy baby quilt. It's just that easy.